Welcome agents, today I want to talk about whether the Division will come to an end once the Division 2 is released. Will everyone migrate to the new game and will the Division be left behind? Let's take a look at what Managing Director of Massive David Polfelt had to say and what I think will happen. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below, subscribe if you're new and want daily Division content, and with that said, let's get to this. In a recent interview with Managing Director of Massive David Polfelt, he said the following speaking to games industry. It's been 3 years between the Division and the Division 2. I think there's a lot of interest in trying a similar type of mechanic, but in a new way. I'm pretty sure people are curious about the new one. Part of me thinks maybe the Division should remain live, and the Division 2 is an alternative path for some people. I don't know what will happen. I think we need to remain very open-minded about that. A Ubisoft spokesman went on to say the Division will be supported long term. The main concern, I assume, is that once the Division 2 is officially released, on March 15th, the existing player base of the Division will naturally migrate over to the sequel, and thus the Division will receive no further updates and will finally be exactly what the haters have been saying for the last 2 years or more, dead. But Polfelt and the Ubisoft spokesman seem optimistic that the player base will remain as the game has, and I quote, a larger player base now than we had in 6 months ago. I can envisage that the player base of the Division increasing as we get closer to the release of the Division 2. It's likely there will be a spike in players around Christmas as people want to experience the Division, maybe get some shields completed for when the Division 2 is released. I did head over to the Division Steam charts, which I know only shows PC players and doesn't include the majority of the Division audience at this time on console, but I wanted to see the numbers currently. As you can see on screen, the game has been in decline since June this year, which comes as no surprise when we've had the Striker meta and the Showstopper meta, blah blah blah. Surprisingly, update 1.8.3, which has just come out, doesn't appear to have brought those players back, but we will have to wait and see. Like I said, the numbers on console may be completely different and tell a completely different story. What do you think? Do you think that you'll return to the Division once the Division 2 is released? I can certainly see myself coming back if the Division 2 does not deliver like we've been promised, but I'd hope the devs don't abandon the original game. After playing the Division 2 demo, I can already imagine a time when I get bored of the Ghost Recon-like scenery and want instead the snow-covered streets of Manhattan. We don't know yet if dynamic weather will be in the Division 2, but I'd hope with all the sun, we have some wet days and some snow days to really make the world feel alive, which by the way is one of the devs' goals with the Division 2, to make the world feel alive. I guess it all comes down to how well received the Division 2 is and whether or not they do make on the promises they made. If the Division 2 fails at launch like the Division did, then expect a lot of people to go back to the Division or to quit the franchise entirely. Either way, I think it's important that the devs do work on the Division into the future, even if it's just to balance this or fix that. Polfelt believes that both the titles can be supported going forward, and I do too, but I am a little skeptical on that. The Division 2 is like a second chance, but this time they have 3 years of experience behind them. It wouldn't surprise me that all of the team will work to make sure the Division 2 launch and future plans are as successful as they possibly could be. My guess would be that other studios will take over the reins of the Division, just like they have already, and these studios will support it after the release of the Division 2. It's hard to really know what's going to happen, but I would hate for my favourite game to disappear into the abyss just because the sequel was perfect. With that said, I do want the Division 2 to be what the Division should have been at launch. There you go agents, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Will you never look back once the Division 2 is released? Leave your comments down below. Thanks for your support, I truly mean that, and until the next one, Epic out.